So here we have the FC Compact. This is the box that it comes in. I'm going to have a little look at what the various text actually says. So I use Google Translate. It's not going to be 100% accurate, so anyone who does understand Chinese who can translate better than me will be very much appreciated. So at the top here it says built-in FC games, built-in Famicom games, in other words. Here it says classic vintage games. Up here, this is quite tricky to translate, but it's kind of miss the old days, anniversary edition, limited birthday retro game machine. Anyway, according to Google Translate, that's what it means. This bit up here says GM, also used as general game card. I don't know what GM is, but obviously it's referring to the cartridge. Here we have it says built-in 88 Naruto game. I don't get what Naruto means. Is it referring to the popular franchise? I don't know. If anyone can tell me what they're actually saying, would be much appreciated, because again down here it says FC Naruto Red and White 30th Anniversary Edition or something. Again, I don't know if it's actually anything to do with the Naruto franchise. Down here we've got built-in games. This says something about Copilot or something. I think it's just saying, because this is player one controller, this is the main controller. TV ports or something to that effect. And this one, you can use a cartridge basically. So that is the box, and around the side it just has the same that's up here. So let's have a look inside the box. So we've got the FC Compact itself, 2 controllers and a cartridge. This has got 132 games, all written in Chinese. Unfortunately, I've been unable to get this working. I will look into that more later on. If you look inside, you might just be able to make out there's just one chip, and that's it. Okay, so that's the cartridge. If we just look at what you get in the box, you've got this power supply. Just move that there. This is just a travel adapter, so I don't know if they just got hold of a load of mobile phone chargers and just put that in there. Why not? Why make their own power supply? It's got just a standard barrel jack connector. So this is rated for 9 volts, 1 amp, and then you've got like standard AV lead, red, white, yellow composite, but this is really cheaply made, so if you do get one of these systems, just swap it for a much better quality cable. By the way, this is how I got it like this, and it's also missing the instruction manual, which seems to be present in other unboxings. So we've got 2 controllers. We've got player 1 and we've got player 2. Looking at the actual console itself, I'll get it out, one moment. There we go. So it's very light. It looks like a Famicom, yeah, but without the wiring controllers. It's got the 2 controller ports here, power LED. At the back it says DC 6 volts, even though on the bottom, I'll show you in a moment, it says 9 volts. You've got audio, video, audio. You've got a sticker of 2017. These came out first in 2016, I believe. So you just connect these to the connections on your TV if you have these type of connections. The audio is actually mono, even though there's stereo connections there. On the bottom, FC Compact, as it says input voltage 9 volts, but you can probably run it off 6 volts. I'm going to try that myself. But yeah, that's a quick overview of what comes with the system, and we'll have a look at the actual games later on. So here I have an original Famicom and the FC Compact again, so we can compare the two. I only received this Famicom today, so please forgive how dirty it is. I need to give that a good clean up before doing a proper video on it. So the Famicom is essentially a Japanese version of the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, aka NES, whatever you want to call it. And it came out in 1983, 1 year before I was born, can you believe? So let's look at the similarities and differences. So at a quick glance, they look very similar in size and appearance, but there's some obvious giveaways. So obviously it's got written Nintendo here, whereas it doesn't have there. Also we have some Japanese text here, whereas here I believe it's Chinese text. Doesn't come out too well in the video, unfortunately. Another key difference is the Famicom has built-in controller ports, whereas the FC Compact has a so-called Atari style ports. Now the Famicom also has this additional connector here for peripherals, things such as 3D glasses, can you believe? Yes, in the 80s. And on the back we have AC adapter. You can't use a NES power supply on this. Do not use a NES power supply on this. You have been warned. This didn't come with a power supply, so I'm going to source my own one. Now we've got this TV game switch. I don't know what that does, so if anyone can lie to me would be great. And you've got a channel select switch and the RF socket. So if you do buy one of these, please be aware that it probably won't work on your TV, but there are mods you can do to get it working on a modern TV. Whereas with the FC Compact again, you've got the composite connection, which is not great but easier to use than RF. On the bottom of the system, we've got some Japanese text here. We've got what I believe is a serial number. Unfortunately the sticker's coming off. I have to try and repair that if I can. And you've got the model number H3C-001, Nintendo Company Limited, 1983, made in Japan. Whereas on the back of the FC Compact, you've got FC Compact, model number RS35. I believe there were other models of the FC Compact. Input voltage and current, Ranshan Technology Company Limited, made in China, Cool Baby, which I believe is some kind of brand name. Now one last thing is just to look at the controllers. So as mentioned, you'll see that Player 2 has a microphone, and this is the volume for the microphone. So when you spoke into it, the sound could be heard in the TV and it could be used to influence the game in some way. And there's no select or start buttons. If we compare that to the FC Compact controller, you can see the differences. So a similar style design, but you've got the two extra buttons, and they're identical for both controllers. So that's a look at comparing the FC Compact, which is a clone of an original Famicom. So we're now going to open up the console. So to open it up, you need to remove these 6 screws, and then the back will just come off. Okay, so you see there's 3 main circuit boards. We can just zoom in on each one of them. Okay. So see, you've got the AV sockets here, power input. The 2 audio channels are connected together, so it is only mono, even though there's stereo connections. See, there's a signature here. I don't know why you would put a signature on this product, like you're proud of it. The voltage input that comes in here is regulated using a Zener diode and resistor. So put 9 volts in, you get 5 volts out, roughly. On the other side, not exciting, it's just a capacitor, and they've just labelled the connections. If you haven't guessed already, I have removed the screws already, so it's just easy to get to the circuit boards. This is the main board. So you've got one of these chip-on boards. That is probably emulating the NES or Famicom. I'm not sure if it's just Famicom only. You've got the cartridge port here. Notice all the looks like flux residue. This is being put together very cheaply, as you can imagine. Just get them out of bits like that. Yep. And then we've got this board here. You've got the controller ports, the power, that's the power, and that's the reset switches. And you've got this LED they're putting very awkwardly. The legs are almost shorting. And if we look on the other side of the main board, I'll just turn this all over like so. Just zoom in on that a bit. Doesn't come up very well, but this is a flash chip, so that must be storing all the game ROMs. And you just got a quartz crystal here, and there's just a few other components, not very interesting, but see how they're soldered really badly, because it's been soldered by hand, but it's just very, very poor soldering. On the other side of this board, again nothing interesting, there's just a limiting resistor for the LED and the 2 switches. So that's it, that's a look inside the FC Compact, very minimal, very badly put together. So we're going to have a look now inside this controller. It's the same for player 2 as well. Notice that although select and start are labelled, there's no A and B labelled. Also on the original Famicom it only has 2 action buttons, and on the second controller there's a microphone and there's no select or start buttons. So to open up this controller, there's just 4 screws on the back need to be removed, and this reveals this circuit board, which we'll take it out. Okay, it's pretty much what you kind of expect. Let's just zoom in a bit. So we have the D-pad buttons, which are labelled. This select button is labelled as set for some reason. You've got start, and you've also got A, B, turbo A, turbo B. Again, on original Famicom there were no turbo buttons, there were just 2 action buttons, A and B, and they were arranged in a different position as well. So this chip handles the turbo function, and it also encodes what buttons have been pressed, because there's 2 connections for power and 3 for communication. But there you go, that's a look inside the controller. Thanks for watching. Please let me know any experiences you've had with the FC Compact. Look out for an upcoming video on the original Famicom. Take care, happy gaming, bye for now, bye.